IIHM, popularly known as the International Institute of Hotel Management, is one of the largest private hospitality institutes that imparts world-class education and can firmly pride itself for being one of the most foremost academic institutions of the country that offer globally recognized international degrees in hotel management. The hugely popular events that they host IIHM International Young Chef Olympiad. As the last dish is plated, they can only wait till the evening for the verdict to be pronounced.
Malaysia!
IIHM as an institute has always been able to define its core objectives clearly over the years. It is an institution that has always worked towards causes that give back to the society. IIHM proudly and aptly calls them food soldiers, a dynamic group of students working tirelessly to ensure a hunger-free world.
Hotel management. Hotel plus management. At IIHM, the education is like doing a BBA plus hospitality. Because at IIHM, we train our students to become global business hospitality managers. In one hand, they are full of knowledge in hospitality, charismatic, and they have got the study skills of a very hardcore subjects like finance, strategic HR, global marketing, and a whole range of the management inputs.
IIHM for a great hospitality.
Namaste. Hello everyone, and welcome to the wonderful world of IIHM. My name is Iris Rebello, and I'm speaking to you from the studios of our beautiful IIHM Goa campus. IIHM Goa is one of the many centers we have across India. IIHM is present in 8 cities across India. That's Goa, Kolkata, Delhi, Bangalore, Pune, Hyderabad, Ahmedabad, and Jaipur. We have centers abroad as well, and we are present in Bangkok and Samarkand. Now, during this 40-minute session today, you will meet our faculty members, and they will also take you on a virtual tour of our lovely campus and also explain to you about the various subjects that we offer and our methods of teaching. So without wasting much time, let me now introduce you to our dynamic director, Mr. Samir Mehta, who will take this career seminar forward. Thank you. Over to you, Mr. Mehta.
Thank you so much, Iris. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening to everybody out there who's watching this. आप सभी का स्वागत है to the career seminar organized by IIHM, and today this is IIHM Goa, which is going live from the studios, the most beautiful studios of IIHM across the country, and that is our campus in Goa. बहुत मजे की बात है कि हॉस्पिटैलिटी मैनेजमेंट एक ऐसा कोर्स है जहां पे आपको चीजों को खूबसूरत बनाने की ट्रेनिंग दी जाती है। हॉस्पिटैलिटी मैनेजमेंट एक ऐसा कोर्स है जहां पे आपको लग्जरी, ब्यूटी और मैनेजमेंट स्किल्स सब एक साथ सिखाए जाते हैं। इसीलिए ये एक ऐसा ग्रेजुएशन कोर्स है जिसमें आपको बहुत सारा ज्ञान 3 साल में बहुत सिमटा के, बहुत समराइज करके दिया जाता है। लेकिन इस चैलेंज के साथ एक प्रॉमिस ये भी रहता है कि हॉस्पिटैलिटी एजुकेशन क्लियर करने के बाद स्टूडेंट्स के पास बहुत सारे एवेन्यूज डायरेक्टली ओपन हो जाते हैं। जहां पे भी सर्विस स्किल रिक्वायर्ड है, जहां पे भी पीपल स्किल्स रिक्वायर्ड है, वहां पे हॉस्पिटैलिटी मैनेजमेंट हमेशा काम आती है। सो विदाउट मच अडू, आज हम स्पेसिफिकली टॉक करेंगे, वी विल टॉक अबाउट द फैक्ट दैट हाउ हॉस्पिटैलिटी मैनेजमेंट कैन ग्रूम अ पर्सन टू फिल अप वेरियस एवेन्यूज of career. That is our topic for today, boys and girls, and we are going live from IIHM, which is the largest hotel management social network currently in this country with over 3.4 million followers. तो वहां से हम सभी आपके लिए live हैं. You need to understand there are 8 campuses of IIHM, so all across these various campuses which are situated in Kolkata, Delhi, Bangalore, Hyderabad, Jaipur, Pune, Ahmedabad, of course, my hometown Goa, and Bangkok, and currently Samarkand. What makes us so good that we have expanded so fast? 28 years, and we have 10 campuses. There must be something special that is there, because of which in today's date, hospitality all over the globe is looking at IIHM to lead for a lot of prospects. In fact, as we get along today, मेरी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है आपको आज ये दिखाना कि हॉस्पिटैलिटी कैसे अलग अलग एवेन्यूज में काम करती है और कैसे हम अपने स्टूडेंट्स को उन सारे एवेन्यूज में सही तरीके से बढ़ने के लिए ट्रेन करते हैं। दैट इज द स्पेशलिटी ऑफ IIHM. लेट मी स्टार्ट ऑफ बाय टॉकिंग टू यू कि हमारे इतने सारे अलग अलग कैंपसेस जो है जिसमें कि मैं एग्जैक्टली इसको अपना घर बोलता हूं। Hi, from Goa. But different campuses, all these different campuses are located across some of the most major commercial areas of each of the cities and states where we are situated. Our education starts from right there. Our education starts from the location of the campus itself. You know why? Because आप hospitality वहां नहीं सिखा सकते जहां लोगों की कमी हो। You want a space which is commercially viable. You want a space which is commercially very open to a huge chunk of population so that the students get the right exposure. And that's where we start our education from. We start our education from some of the most happening places in the states or the cities that we exist in. Remember that, boys and girls, hospitality is about your connection with people. आप लोगों से किस तरह कनेक्ट कर सकते हैं, आप लोगों से किस तरह बातचीत करते हैं, आप लोगों से किस तरह आप उनके सामने आते हैं, ये बहुत ज्यादा जरूरी है हॉस्पिटैलिटी में। और इसीलिए आपको हमेशा ऐसी जगह जाना चाहिए जहां पे आपको लोग आए, लोग आपसे मिले, यू इंटरैक्ट विद देम, और जितना आप उन लोगों से इंटरैक्ट करेंगे उतना ही ज्यादा आपको एक्सपोजर मिलेगा, और उस एक्सपोजर के साथ आप एक एक्सपीरियंशियल लर्निंग में घुसते हैं, जो कि मेरा अगला पॉइंट है IIHM के बारे में, कि एग्जैक्टली व्हाट इज इट दैट वी ब्रिंग टू द टेबल. The most important factor that we bring to the table at IIHM in education for hospitality, specifically for hospitality, is fun. ध्यान रखिए इस बात का, पढ़ाई सिर्फ और सिर्फ किताबों से नहीं होती. Books are very important. I do not disagree with that. Books are very, very important. हमारे यहाँ भी आपको किताबों से तो पढ़ना ही पड़ेगा. But आज किताब के साथ साथ बहुत ज्यादा जरूरी है आपका एक्सपीरियंस. आपका एक्सपीरियंस आपका टीचर होता है, और वो एक्सपीरियंस आपको जिस लर्निंग जो लर्निंग देता है उसको हम एक्सपीरियंशियल लर्निंग कहते हैं. एक तरह से एक होलिस्टिक लर्निंग अप्रोच है, जिससे कि अगर आप कुछ करके सीखते हैं, आप यदि मैं अगर आप हॉस्पिटैलिटी की बात करूं, अगर मैं आपको लोगों से बात करना, एक्चुअली लोगों के सामने खड़े होके बात करके सिखाऊं, तो आपको ज्यादा समझ आएगा. You will have a better understanding if I actually show you something and if I put you in that place and get you to do it. Today, all management functions are going towards experiential learning. All the major brands, major universities are going towards experiential learning. तो कुछ तो खास बात होगी इस experiential learning में, जो कि पूरा विश्व इसको फॉलो करने की कोशिश कर रहा है, पूरी दुनिया इसके पीछे पड़ी है, और वो चीज हम IIHM में ऑलरेडी कर रहे हैं. कैसे कर रहे हैं? चलिए आपको कुछ आइडियाज देता हूं. In second year, we have something called Realia. In Realia, we give our students about 5,000 rupees. We break them down into groups of 20, right? So one group of 20 has 5,000 rupees, and we give them a commercial space, right? A joint, a proper commercial joint. We give it to them, and we tell them, now you need to run this place for next 1 week. And my students have to set up the costing for that place, right? Their initial capital is 5,000 rupees. They need to set up the capital for that. They need to actually find out in 5,000 rupees what kind of raw materials will they get, how will they manage the heat, light, and power supplies. Then do they give takeaways or do they plan out a dine-in? And then they run this space for the next 1 week. They don't put 1 penny apart from that 5,000 that has been initially given. तो 5,000 रुपए में से जो भी बचा पहले दिन के बाद, वो तुम्हारी सीड कैपिटल है डे 2 के लिए, और तुमने डे 2 में जो भी खरीदा, जो भी तुमने कमाया डे 1, right? So that becomes your day capital. Your seed capital changes day on day as you make profits day on day. And that's how we teach our students how to run a business. Of course, running a business is a huge thing. इसीलिए second year में हम बच्चों को सिर्फ run करना, operation सिखाते हैं. By the time they reach third year, then we do a lot more. We get them to the idea of how to make a business plan. We get them to an idea of how to pitch for getting investments, how to actually get investments. और इसकी experiential learning का example दूं. Every year, IIHM hosts an international food festival. और यहाँ पे in Goa, in fact, I'm proud to say that we host the largest food festival of South Goa every year annually, right? So we are looking at in about 3.5, 4 hours, my students cater to almost 1,100 people in a span of 3.5 to 4 hours. And it's not just about the fact that they're serving to so many people, because wo to kiya ja sakta hai. But imagine, my students learn right from the idea of creating a business plan, creating a theme-based event, organizing a theme-based event, setting up identifying the venue, setting up the menu, pricing the menu, getting the cost right, pricing the marketing, getting the cost right, then pricing the tickets which are sold for this event. And yes, tickets are sold for this event. So my students actually get that experience of how to go about running a proper business. And you know what? It does not just end there. Then a lot of my students, they actually go ahead with getting sponsorships, which is a part and parcel of their life. They need to get sponsorships for each of the food fests that you see here. These are all different food festivals that were organized. right? And when they actually go ahead, they pitch for this, they go to various companies, they tell them we are running a food fest, can you sponsor? They get sponsorship for raw materials, for food materials, right? They get sponsorship for decor, they get sponsorship for beverages, they get lots of sponsorships. And all of this reduces their cost. So at the beginning of the event, my students have to create a proposed budget plan for the entire event. At the end of the event, they have to give a feedback study, a study of all the feedbacks that they've received, 1,100 people, that's a lot. And then they also need to give me a proper profit and loss statement of the entire event. Now, can you imagine the scope of the event that my students organize? That's how huge our students go when they learn. This is called experiential learning. And this is what we give at IIHM. And this is what is currently required in hospitality. You know, we spoke to, over the pandemic, we spoke to many general managers all over the country and some beyond. And there's one common thread that almost everybody said. They said, today we are not looking for a person who's super specialized in only one area. We are looking for people who can work in multiple areas at multiple points of time, because the requirement of the hospitality enterprise will change. For example, a person may work at the front office in the morning because it's busy time at the time of checkouts, and then help out the restaurant in the afternoon when the lunch gets busy. Now, if you think that is impossible, you need to actually come down to any one of the IIHMs, all the locations that we just shared with you, and you will see that's not impossible. In fact, that's very much probable that you will excel in each of those areas. So how do we manage that? How do we ensure that our students get to that space? Well, it entirely depends upon the kind of subjects that we teach. So we teach our students management, which is foremost. As you will realize, management is a part of all studies today. Whichever stream you're going in, you have to learn a bit of management. You need to understand how to manage, right? How to manage people, how to manage sales, how to manage targets. So principles and practices of management, sales and marketing, human resource management, and now we'll come in a bit more detail to another part, the segment of management. But before that, some of the specialization areas. So we have front office. Front office is the area which interacts with the guest, on which the theory of revenue management is based, room sales and all. Then you have the Accommodation Operations department, which deals with the cleanliness, hygiene, beautification of all the spaces in any enterprise. In any enterprise. Today, housekeeping is not specifically related to hotels. Hotels are, of course, important, but there are a lot of other places where hospitality can go in, and I will share those details. Then comes the food and beverage area, which is the food and beverage production and food and beverage service, which are two major portions of hospitality. I know most of you want to become chefs, but when you want to become a chef, then this is the area for you, food and beverage. It's not just about production. It is also about how you sell that particular product. How do you sell that food? How do you create a banquet space which sells food? How do you create a space where beverages can be sold more than food? So there's always this going on. You need to specialize. You need to understand how that sale can be made possible. And then you have digital marketing. You need to understand how to ensure promotion today in a digital world. So at IIHM, you will be taught digital marketing separately to ensure that you learn the idea of digital marketing. You learn the idea of how to use social media as a means to promote yourself. And finally, of course, you need to know how to count the profits. So finance is a very, very important subject. All of these are categorized. They are divided between year 1, 2, and 3 years of study. So they're divided in year 1, 2, and 3 to ensure that our students get the most in form of experiential learning from each of these subjects. By the end of the day, or by the end of the curriculum, our students can be placed anywhere across the globe, and they will not find it cumbersome to adjust to the environment, and they're flexible enough to understand how to operate in whichever field they are. So what are the various aspects? While there are a lot of areas in which a hospitality management student can get selected, I will specifically talk about a few of those so that you do not get completely bogged down by the amount of information that I'm going to give. Hotels, definitely a lot of hospitality students get recruited in hotels because that's where this core business started. But hotels are no longer the only spaces where our students get selected or where hospitality opportunities exist. Let's look at restaurants. Today, a standalone restaurant can earn more than a restaurant which is associated with the hotel. An operations manager of a standalone restaurant, which I was at one point of time, and I can promise you, sometimes earns much more than what a restaurant manager earns. Because it's a specialized unit, and in that specialized unit, that person ends up getting a lot of money, right? So those of you who are in Bangalore, they will know that Bangalore has a space called Indiranagar, and in that Indiranagar, there's a place called 100 Feet Road, which is a very prominent road, right? In Indiranagar, where I was working at one point of time, as an operations manager, it was very easy to earn around 1.5 lakhs a month. That's an operations manager for one restaurant. That's the kind of money we are talking about. But let's keep the money aside. Look at the idea. If you're interested only in food service, if you're interested only in beverage management, then restaurants are a much more easier and specialized area for you to be. And today, standalone restaurants are doing commercially fantastic. Bars, I should not be talking to you about bars. It's not. It's an educational institution, but think about it. Alcohol in itself is a beautiful thing to study. But if you get to serve alcohol and make money out of it, what could be better? And people do that. Today, there is a designation, there's a title called as a sommelier. A sommelier is a person who drinks wine, tastes the wine, identifies whether the wine has been made to the standards of a particular company, I should call it at this moment, right, or not. And that guy gets paid massively. Today, microbreweries are an in thing in India, right? Bangalore, Gurgaon, Mumbai, Hyderabad. The microbreweries are coming up. The idea of microbrewery is that they make their own beer. The person who makes the beer, you know what's his name? That person is called a brewmaster. The average salary of a brewmaster currently in India is around 3.5 lakhs to 3.75 lakhs a month. Now, to get that kind of salary, of course, it's not easy. That person has to undergo tremendous amount of training. He has to have a lot of experience. He has to understand the science and the commerce behind that particular aspect, and that's when you get that kind of salary. In fact, I'll come back to that phrase. The understanding the science and commerce of any particular field. So in hospitality, we at IIHM believe that what is important is that you understand the art, which is the operations, as well as the commerce or the business of hospitality. So you should know what to do. You should know how much it will cost. And very importantly, you should know how much should you sell it for. And this is how we teach hospitality to the students that come to IIHM. Want to know other things? Okay, facilities management. Remember when I was saying that housekeeping people also no longer need to specifically work in hotels? Well, here's an opportunity. Facilities management is the field in which there are some companies which are specialized at their tasks, right? IT companies specialize in IT. Similarly, an engineering firm, a Larsen & Toubro will specialize in engineering. right? A Google will specialize at creation of web pages and search engines. And Amazon would specialize in e-commerce. But their offices also need to be clean. Their people also need to be fed, right? So there are some companies which specialize in providing these services to all the major giants in the world. And these are called as facility management companies. One of the most prominent ones currently available in India is called CBRE. CBRE, you can search for this. Right? And these companies, they provide the facility of the cleaning, the fooding. They keep the space lively, they keep the space hygienic, they keep the space clean, and also they keep the space beautiful. So facilities management, another avenue that's open to all the hospitality management graduates. Aviation. In fact, a lot of my students currently wish that they would work with airlines. Right? They want to become the cabin crew people, they can become the ground crew people. It's absolutely fine. आप हवाई जहाज के ऊपर सर्विस कर सकते हैं, आप एयरपोर्ट्स पे काम कर सकते हैं, और ये सारी बहुत ही ल्यूक्रेटिव जॉब अपॉर्चुनिटीज होगी, राइट? जब तक लोग ट्रैवल करते रहेंगे, फ्लाइट्स तो डेफिनेटली कम कर देंगे. सिमिलरली केटरिंग, इंस्टीट्यूशनल केटरिंग आज की डेट में एक बहुत ही बड़ा बिजनेस सेटअप हो गया है. आई मीन इमेजिन, अगर आप 3 अलग अलग फैक्ट्रीज में खाना सप्लाई करते हैं एट अ मिनिमम कॉस्ट. चलिए आपने 100 रुपए की कॉस्ट पे आपने खाना सप्लाई किया है 3 फैक्ट्रीज में. हर फैक्ट्री में अगर 500 लोग भी काम करते हैं सिर्फ, तो क्या आप समझ सकते हैं आपका कितना अमाउंट आपको मिल रहा है ओवर 1 डे? दैट्स 1,50,000 rupees in 1 day. Of course, इसमें से आपका काफी कुछ कॉस्ट के में भी हटेगा. बट इमेजिन, आई कैन प्रॉमिस यू, आई हैव डन दिस कैलकुलेशन माई सेल्फ. एक ऐसे सेटअप में यू कैन इजिली अर्न मोर देन 1 lakh rupees every month if you have a catering setup ready with you. So that's another revenue only for hotel management or hospitality management graduates. Similarly, you have event management. आप इवेंट्स ऑर्गेनाइज कर सकते हैं. पता है इवेंट मैनेजमेंट का टोटल आपको एक्चुअली कितना इन्वेस्टमेंट लगता है इवेंट मैनेजमेंट कंपनी खोलने के लिए? You just need to have a phone with WhatsApp working and you can actually set up an event management company. Literally 10,000 के एक फोन से आपकी इवेंट मैनेजमेंट कंपनी स्टार्ट हो सकती है. आप टूरिज्म ज्वाइन कर सकते हैं. आज की डेट में टूरिज्म जॉब्स का अपॉर्चुनिटीज काफी बढ़ रही है. Government or non-government, you have a lot of opportunities coming up in tourism areas, the tourism sector as well. Cruise lines, again, a beautiful setup, expensive setup, more money setup. But if you join a cruise line, the starting salary of a chef, a line cook in a cruise line currently ranges between 60,000 to 70,000 rupees a month. That's the starting salary. So you can imagine that इस तरह से कितने सारे avenues already hospitality management लोगों के लिए खुले हुए हैं जो कि डायरेक्टली उनके स्पेशलाइजेशन से रिलेट करते हैं. इनके अलावा hospitality management students are good with soft skills. They're very good with people. है ना? Person to person interaction hospitality student का बहुत अच्छा होता है. As a result, a lot of hospitality graduates get selected for retail, for networking companies like Airtel and VI, right? For banking services, and of course then so on and so forth. There are multiple avenues. जहां पे भी किसी व्यक्ति से बात करने का ऑप्शन अवेलेबल होता है, वहां आज की डेट में हॉस्पिटैलिटी मैनेजमेंट स्टूडेंट्स बहुत अच्छा काम कर सकते हैं. मेरे खुद के जानकार आज बैंक्स में PROs हैं, right? Public relation officers हैं, या you can say कि one of them is actually working for VI as well. तो options बहुत सारे अवेलेबल होते हैं. ये हमारे स्टूडेंट्स पे डिपेंड करता है कि वो आगे जाके क्या करना चाहते हैं. And that's what makes hospitality such an interesting study. Generally, जब आप एक पढ़ाई करते हैं, right, you are going up a pyramid, And as you go up a pyramid, आपके पास choices कम होती जाती हैं. But in hospitality, you are at such a sector जहाँ पे आपकी choices बढ़ना शुरू हो जाती हैं. You have a lot more choices available to you, and those choices you can actually pick and choose. इसमें से मुझे क्या पसंद है? What is it that I like? And that, based on that, you can decide how to proceed with your career in the future. A very important part of a study in hospitality is the internship, because internship आज की डेट में every hospitality management course in the world needs you to undergo an internship, an apprenticeship. You need to go to a hotel, you need to learn about their ways, their culture. वहां जाके आप सीखते हैं कि एक होटल में असल में काम होता कैसे है. At IIHM, our students get placed for internship not only in India but outside India as well. Our students get placed in Middle East, our students get placed in the Northern America, our students get placed in Europe, in Southeast Asia. जहां पे भी tourism boom कर सकता है वहां पे आपको IIHM के students जरूर मिल जाएंगे. You know why? मैं आपको अभी तक जो बता रहा, एक्सपीरियंशियल लर्निंग, किस तरह से हम अपने बच्चों को सिखाते हैं, उसके कारण our kids are very comfortable everywhere across the globe. अब क्योंकि वो हर जगह कंफर्टेबल होते हैं, different companies, different geographies are ready to recruit our students. तो इंटर्नशिप के लिए भी हम अपने स्टूडेंट्स को ये बेनिफिट देते हैं कि वो राष्ट्रीय या अंतरराष्ट्रीय स्तर पर जाकर अपनी इंटर्नशिप कर सकते हैं, और वहां से जब वापस आते हैं तो उनका पर्सोना, उनकी पर्सनालिटी चेंज हो चुकी होती है. They have a brand new concept of life. Imagine the kind of exposure our students get when they actually intern abroad. Different spaces, different locations. इतना कुछ करने के बाद, what does that make IIHM? You know, I usually tell my students, अगर आपको ये समझना हो कि कौन सा कॉलेज या कौन सी यूनिवर्सिटी आपके लिए सही है, you should always base that on 3 factors. 3 बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट फैक्टर्स होते हैं जिसपे कि आप डिसाइड कर सकते हैं कि कौन सा कॉलेज या कौन सी यूनिवर्सिटी आपके लिए सही है. फैक्टर नंबर 1, वो किस तरह की एजुकेशन प्रोवाइड कर रहे हैं. निहायत ही जरूरी है ये समझना कि वो किस तरह की एजुकेशन अपने स्टूडेंट्स को प्रोवाइड करते हैं, वो एजुकेशन का स्तर क्या है, उस कंपटीशन का स्तर क्या है. जैसे हम आपको यूनिवर्सिटी ऑफ वेस्ट लंदन से एसोसिएट कराते हैं, जो कि यूके की टॉप 10 यूनिवर्सिटीज में आज गिनी जाती है और हॉस्पिटैलिटी का कॉलेज उनका बहुत ही मशहूर है. उस यूनिवर्सिटी से हमारे स्टूडेंट्स अपनी होटल मैनेजमेंट की डिग्री पाते हैं, और इसका बेनिफिट उनको ये होता है कि उनको इस तरह से एक्सपोजर मिलता है, इस तरह की एजुकेशन मिलती है कि जो आज की डेट में भारत में और कहीं अवेलेबल नहीं होती. Our students get exposed to international books, international authors, a lot of webinars, seminars, and through that, and you know, there's a difference in the style of education. And that difference in the style of education is the international education usually focuses more on analysis of what is being taught. It's not just about information, it's about choosing the right kind of information. In fact, पहले 2 साल हम अपने स्टूडेंट्स को यही सिखाते हैं कि इंफॉर्मेशन तो तुमको इंटरनेट पे बहुत मिल जाएगी, बट उसमें से सही इंफॉर्मेशन कौन सी है ये चुनना आना चाहिए. आप कोई भी इंफॉर्मेशन लेते हैं, आप उसको एनालाइज करते हैं, और एनालाइज करने के बाद आप जज करते हैं कि वो सही है या गलत है, या उसके बेसिस पे आपके डिसीजंस होते हैं. दैट हेल्प्स माय स्टूडेंट्स इन देयर डिसीजन मेकिंग स्किल्स. हमारे स्टूडेंट्स डिसीजंस लेना सीखते हैं, और डिसीजंस लेने के साथ साथ जैसे जैसे वो प्रगति करते हैं अपने करियर में, जैसे उनका करियर डेवलपमेंट होता है, वो ऊंची से ऊंची पदवी पे, पोस्ट पे पहुंचते जाते हैं, उनकी लाइफ में डिसीजन कर लेना उतना ही इंपॉर्टेंट हो जाता है. एंड एट दैट टाइम दिस एजुकेशन हेल्प्स. सो IIHM does not leave their students immediately after passing out, चलो छुट्टी. My students remain my students for life. और जब तक ये कॉलेज खड़ा रहेगा तब तक उनको एक सपोर्ट हमेशा रहेगा, that is from their college, that is IIHM. And as a result of that, Consecutively, for the past 4 years, IIHM has been named as the best hospitality education brand in the country by Economic Times. Consistently for last 4 years, kuch to baat ho, right? We got the Education Excellence Award this year in 2021. So there's definitely something that is going on at IIHM. Forbes, अगर आपने Forbes का नाम नहीं सुना तो आज definitely Google करके देख सकते हैं. Forbes is that magazine which ranks, right? Which it ranks everything. It ranks companies, it ranks individuals, it ranks institutions. Forbes has named IIHM as a great place to study. Dynamic और persistent achievers of India में IIHM का नाम आया है Forbes के इस एडिशन में, जो 2021 का एडिशन है, जून 2021, उसमें IIHM का नाम आया है as a great place to study, as a dynamic and persistent achiever. यानी एक ऐसी संस्था जो कि कॉन्स्टेंटली अपने आप को ग्रो करती जाती है और उसके चलते हम अपने स्टूडेंट्स को ग्रो करवाते हैं. तो ऐसा हम क्या करते हैं? What is it that makes this part of the education very important? Which brings me to the second point. Remember the first point I said, how do you choose a college? Check the education that they are providing. Second, are they actually helping that particular industry? अगर एक इंजीनियरिंग कॉलेज है तो वो एक्चुअली इंजीनियरिंग फील्ड के लिए क्या डेवलपमेंट कर रहा है, या क्या वो सिर्फ थ्योरेटिकली बच्चों को सिखा रहे हैं? अगर एक मेडिकल कॉलेज है तो वो मेडिसिन के लिए क्या डेवलपमेंट कर रहे हैं? अगर एक मैनेजमेंट कॉलेज है तो वो मैनेजमेंट फील्ड के लिए, मैनेजमेंट स्टडी के लिए क्या डेवलपमेंट कर रहे हैं? Let me give you an example. At IIHM, we are constantly in touch with the industry. कुछ ना कुछ करने के लिए हम इंडस्ट्री के साथ हमेशा जुड़े रहते हैं. इनफैक्ट हमारे चेयरमैन डॉक्टर शुभोध घोष sits on the panel for International Hospitality Council, और इन्होंने डिवाइड किया कि 24th अप्रैल जो है वो इंटरनेशनल हॉस्पिटैलिटी डे के नाम से जाना जाएगा. ये शुरुआत हुई और हमारे चेयरमैन ने हमको भी बोला, हमने भी शुरू किया. IIHM was the first institution that started celebrating International Hospitality Day on 24th of April. और आज की डेट में 60 कंट्रीज हमारे साथ, 60 कंट्रीज हमारे साथ इंटरनेशनल हॉस्पिटैलिटी डे मनाते हैं on 24th of April every year. Similarly, बहुत हाल ही में recently we started off the concept of fellowship of IIHM, जो कि भारत में हॉस्पिटैलिटी के लीडर्स को रिकॉग्नाइज करने का पहला प्रोग्राम हुआ. Hospitality leaders such as Mr. Patu Keshwani, who heads the Lemon Tree Hotels, such as Ms. Priya Paul, who heads APJ Surendra Park Group of Hotels. ऐसे हमने 150 लीडर्स ऑफ हॉस्पिटैलिटी को इलेक्ट किया, जो कि एक साथ बैठते हैं, हॉस्पिटैलिटी को चेक करते हैं कि उसमें और क्या इंप्रूवमेंट किया जा सकता है, इंडस्ट्री में ओवरऑल क्या इंप्रूवमेंट किया जा सकता है. और ये सिर्फ भारत के नहीं है. We have national as well as international people who were recognized as electees for FIIHM, and all of these people can come together and they can justify or find out how to develop the best practices in the industry. That's how we work on the research of this industry. So we are not just teaching our students, we are setting up a platform जहां पे पूरी की पूरी industry अपने आप को डेवलप करने में हेल्प कर सकती है. And all the world leaders of this industry can come together and discuss and find out what are the best practices by which the industry can move forward step by step. तो इस तरह से जब एक कॉलेज, जब एक इंस्टीट्यूशन, जब एक संस्था उस फील्ड को डेवलप करने की कोशिश करती है जिसमें कि वो अपने स्टूडेंट्स को प्लेस कर रहे हैं, then the college is doing something right. The college is giving some benefit to the students जो कि बाकियों को नहीं मिलता. And that is, imagine interacting with somebody like Miss Anita Mendirata, who is the secretary to World Tourism Organization under United Nations. And she can come and talk to the students on a platform and she can discuss her ideas. हमारे students को वो ideas मिलते हैं जो कि और किसी को अवेलेबल नहीं होते. And that's why my students become cutting edge. It's not only about the technology, it's also about the mind. It's also about the mentality. और वो हम अपने students को develop करके देते हैं. And that is why, as you can see here, Forbes voted IIHM as a great place to study. I'll give you another example. Very recently, US Soy Association, USSEC, US Council for Soy, they wanted to spread awareness about soy. Soy is the most proteinaceous vegetarian food available on the planet today. They wanted to increase that awareness because we also have, we've also pledged ourselves to United Nations Sustainable Goals #2, that is zero hunger. So when they actually came up with this idea, they wanted to expand the idea of soya in India. They approached IIHM. And through our students, we organized a competition where a lot of new recipes were created specific to soy. हमारे बच्चों ने अलग-अलग रेसिपीज क्रिएट की और ये सारी रेसिपीज सिर्फ सोए के बेसिस पे बनाई गई. इससे बेनिफिट ये हुआ, एक मेरे स्टूडेंट्स की क्रिएटिविटी को एक और परचम मिला. My students' creativity was tested. They were challenged. They were asked to innovate. They were asked to ideate. How can you use soy beyond the boundaries of recipes that have already been given to you? So they created different recipes. Today, soy has become a very important part of global recipes. And I'd like to believe that somewhere IIHM students had something to do with it. And that makes me love this institution a little bit more than I always do. Now I come to the third part of what makes an institution very important, or the right place to be when it comes to justifying for your career. And this is the placement opportunities that the institution can provide you. जरा सोचिए, आपकी पढ़ाई के बाद आपको उसके लायक जॉब या बिजनेस मिले तो ही आपकी पढ़ाई सक्सेसफुल होगी कि नहीं होगी. And that is why it is important for you to judge the placement of a place as soon as you decide upon what kind of institution are you looking for. So why join IIHM? Because IIHM has more placements in more luxury brands than most of the spaces available outside there in the market. We place our students, and this is what brands you see right behind me. ये सारे वो brands हैं जिन्होंने इस साल यानी पैंडेमिक ईयर 2021 में IIHM से स्टूडेंट्स को सिलेक्ट किया है. That's what makes us so desirable when it comes to hospitality education. Now let me go beyond the placement part. Let me tell you more about the careers. And to explain this further, and in the meanwhile, also show you the beauty of Goa, the beauty from where I am talking to you, I have with me some of the most experienced members of the faculty of IIHM Goa who are standing at their respective locations waiting to be given a chance so that they can talk to you about hospitality. So let me start by calling our health department for food production, Chef Sangeeta Fernandez, who's waiting for you at her kitchen to show you what culinary arts can look like. Over to you, Chef Sangeeta. Chef Sangeeta.
Hi, yes, I'm there, sir. Here we go. Hi, good evening, everyone. That's a lovely evening here. It's about to rain in another few minutes, I think. And that's the greenery in front of our college, in front of the college kitchen. See, lovely greenery. And here we entered the kitchen. We got a beautiful and huge kitchen. We have, as sir was just mentioning, what are the different kinds of events we take place? What are the different variations where children come over here? We have different events like food sojo. We have different events like the inter and the intra-college competition where the students compete amongst each other. And here, these are the different tables, these are the different places. You can see the huge kitchen. At one stroke, at least 40 students can work together. Imagine how beautiful it would be when the COVID situations were not as bad as right now. I'm sure that things will be no sooner very beautiful and very good once we are back to college. But then here, this is what it is. We have along with each table, we want to keep a oven also so that it's easy for different students to work at the workplace. At the same time, we have different kind of various the dustbins which have been used. We explain to the students how do we differentiate between a dry garbage and a wet garbage, and that's what it is. And we try our best to keep the most modern equipments to help our students to understand what is how beautifully you can cook, how beautifully you can have your hands on job and work well. Now I would like to introduce you to our one of our, we call her the chef of spices or the queen of spices along with me. She is Chef Pratiksha. If Chef Pratiksha, if you can come over.
Good evening, everyone. This is Chef Pratiksha from IIHM Goa. Welcome to our kitchen. Here, me and Chef Sangeeta, we both take care of our kitchen over here. We actually cater for different events over here. Many students together, they work here. As you can see in the kitchen, there are steel tables. As the tables or the setup is there in the commercial restaurant, commercial hotels, five-star hotels. As Chef mentioned, we keep all modern equipments here. We have ovens, we have deep freezers over here. You can see refrigerator, storage. Everything is placed properly, nicely clean for all the practicals, for all the events. Yes, as the chef mentioned, we do many events in the colleges. One of the best event which we do over here is YCO. Yes, it is an event where from all over the world, 60 countries, they participate in the event, and students from these countries actually they come here, they compete, and we actually call different Michelin star chefs to judge the competition and to give the marks. And actually they come over here, they stay here along with the students, and they judge the competition. Yes, Chef Sangeeta?
I would like to mention and explain what is the YCO all about. This is actually a worldwide competition where IIHM is actually powered by IIHM. Not only IIHM Goa, but IIHM. And all the different campuses, they take the lead and make sure that the students we divide the students from all countries into each campus, and then we start the competition and we move on. Next, I would like to mention, Chef Pratiksha, that we have in IIHM Goa, there's something called El Gusto, which is our own created, the first ever e-magazine of IIHM. And that is not only done by us, we help our students to take out or make over, do something nice out of it. And they have their own articles written to it. They have their own pictures, food pictures. There is no internet pictures, definitely. They create their own pictures and they will do it. Pratiksha, I would like to ask you if you can give certain lines about what is the scope of Indian cookery in our modern days.
Yes, Chef Sangeeta, I would like to explain this. As we are Indians, okay, we actually know about Indian cooking, but because many of our household cooking or our mother and families, they cook Indian food. We think that Indian cooking is not so popular. But if we go to foreign countries, there are many restaurants, they are doing very well with the Indian cooking. There are many tandoori restaurants, Indian food restaurant, North Indian cuisine restaurants, those are doing very well over there. But we as an Indian, we already have hands on that cooking. So if we get a little bit training of that, yes, of course, you can settle down in foreign countries. You can open your own restaurant, which is the best. Maybe in the future, the best restaurant all over the world, or maybe you can open a chain of restaurants. This is the scope for Indian food. And yes, of course, here in India, different cuisines are there. So many cuisines in one Indian food. Yes, so of course they can learn.
And I must mention that there is something called World Cookery, and I'm sure Pratiksha is expert. Whenever we have an event, we cater to 1,000 people with our food festivals, which we Usually we have it during the month of December, but then looking at the scenario, maybe it's not possible, but yes, we don't forget to do it in a small number of people. We have even hosted where we have celebrated Women's Day. We have called the best or the most populated people, women in Goa, and the more powerful people of Goa, and we have catered to them, and we really, being the woman chef, we really feel proud about it. And yes, I would like to also mention there are different stages of each of our year where we teach the students the different kind of cuisines, different kind of international and national cuisine in the year wise. By the time they are in year 3, they're almost maybe not the best, but they try to be the best. We place our best in the best hotels of India, where they can showcase their talents, they can show what beautifully they can learn, what beautifully they can tell them or show them what are into them.
Actually, here in IIHM Goa, from the first years, we actually distribute the events for the students. So yes, in the first year, they can compete for that particular event. In the second year, they teach more about the kitchen or industry to them. So they actually participate in that different event. As sir mentioned in his speech, that Rialya event which we actually do for the students, where they get money from the institute and they actually use a commercial place.
They become, by the time they are in college, they start being an entrepreneur, right?
Yes.
They want to be, how we teach them how to become a businessman, even when you are learning. The profit goes to them, right?
And how can we forget about food soldier event, which recently for 15th August we did.
Every year IIHM does the same. Every year we have something called Food Soldier, where we try and donate some food to the underprivileged people, or we go to a place where we feel good as an IIHM team to serve our own created food. We must mention about the breakfast event, which we especially do for the year 1 passing out students, where they have, I think, Chef Pratikshha, you can talk about it.
Yes, it is a breakfast event where we actually do the lavish breakfast setup, which you get in the 5-star hotels. Okay, ranging from cold cuts, fruit cuts, fruit juices, different types of cheese, international cheese, along with its accompaniments, bakery items, breads, everything. All this means under one roof, where actually students, they prepare this everything, where they get an idea how the buffet will be actually in the hotel industry when they enter actually in the hotel to work.
They go for this training in their second year, so before they could even step ahead, we try to give them a little visualization of how the hotel breakfast looks, and that's what we do. I would also like to mention one of our students was very fortunate enough where IIHM creates a tour, a special culinary tour with our chef, the main head chef, to learn different cuisines. This time they had gone to France, where one of our students was selected to different exams, different technical questions. The best one student from IIHM Goa, and all over campus is one student who has been nicely selected and been taught, and he or she goes to a position where the entire team goes for a tour, like friends tour, and they get to learn a lot of memories and a lot of beautiful things for us, and which is
actually going to that country and learning the Italian food over there, the international cuisine over there. It is a privilege to study over here.
And where the student doesn't have to spend a penny, it's all about your caliber, your learning, the way you want to learn the best creation. So that's all about IIHM. I think
this is all about IIHM Goa kitchen. Here, me and Chef Sangeeta
signing off from IIHM Goa. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.
Thank you so much, chefs. That was very, very informative. Now we will move on to the next department, the department which deals with guests directly. And for that, we have with us Ms. Nupur Bhomik. And there I can see her. Over to you, Nupur. Nupur, you need to unmute yourself.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. Namaste, my name is Nupur Bhomik, and I take care of front office. Sir has already beautifully explained about different career opportunities. Now, I will tell you in front office, we think it is only reception. No. Front office, the guest experience starts with front office and it ends with front office. Now, our curriculum is divided into three parts. In first year, you learn operation. In second year, you learn accounting. And in third year, you learn managerial skills. Now, there is one catch where in third year, you learn one particular topic which is known as revenue management. Sir has beautifully explained about different places where you will be placed. This is one of the places where you will be placed. After 2-3 years of experience, you can be a revenue management executive. After few more years of experience, you can be a revenue manager. And believe me, they earn in lakhs. Other than this, in front office, you learn, of course, you learn the softwares like Fidelio, you learn softwares like Opera, but you learn how to communicate with the guest or how to communicate with stranger. Now, how do you learn? You can see my beautiful lab. Here you do role play. Here one of you will become a guest, or I will be a very difficult guest. And then you do role play and you learn how to communicate with a stranger, how to understand the body language, how to judge their spending capacity, and how to sell your product properly. So when you learn all this thing, or when you opens, you get jobs in retails, you get, as I said, you get jobs in revenue management department, you get jobs in tourism department. So a lot of venue opens because your curriculum is not within a system. You learn a lot more than others. Now, front office is a place where you deal with a lot of guests. You deal with a lot of guests, so automatically, when you are dealing with a lot of guests, when you are doing a lot of role play, when you are communicating with your classmate, with your faculties, automatically you come out of your shell. The shell which you create, you come out of your shell and you become more confident. Sir has already explained about different food fest. Now the front office people, they actually go for sponsorship. When they go for sponsorship, they have to create a creative. They go and approach people. They need to talk. Automatically, they come out of their shell and they become a very good salesperson. Okay. Other than this, we also have a YouTube channel of front office where the student, they make different videos on front office. So in 3 years time, in front office, you will learn the basics, you will learn the accounting process, you will learn the managerial process, you will learn software like Fidelio, Opera, you will learn how to communicate with different type of people, and you will learn a lot more which will help you open up and which will help you create cash, K-A-S-H, knowledge, attitude, skill, and habit. Thank you so much. Over to you, sir.
Thank you so much, Nupur. As we move along, the next department that I'd like to show you is food and beverage service. And for that, we have with us Mr. Dhiren Kurtarkar, who heads the department here at IIHM Goa. Over to you, Dhiren.
Thank you so much, sir. A very good evening and a very good day to everyone, and I hope everyone's doing fine. My name is Dhiren Kurtarkar, and I take care of the food and beverage department at IIHM. So I welcome you to the food and beverage department at the IIHM Goa. Now that you know me, I will quickly show you our lab. now that you see right behind me, we have the dispense bar, right exactly that you see in a five-star hotel. Around me, you can see tables, chairs, and a proper setup of a fine dining restaurant. I'll just move around so you can see the entire lab. So this, as you can see, different types of setups laid on the table. You can see the lighting, right like you would see in a fine dining restaurant. Entire lab is air conditioned. It can accommodate easily about 30 students at one given time, even with social distancing. As you can see, we have all of the different equipments that are needed according to industry standards for your practicals. Right. Now that all of you all have seen the lab, now let me talk a little about the food and beverage department. Okay, as discussed earlier by Sir, the food and beverage department is that department that takes care of the service of food. The food that's prepared by the food production department is being served by the food and beverage department. However, it isn't as small as it looks like. In the hotel itself, we have different sub-departments in the food and beverage department. For example, the restaurant is something that we usually represent the food and beverage department with. However, there are other subsections like the butler service, the pool bar, the dispense bar, banquet department, the lounge services. So all of these sub-departments come under the food and beverage department. Now here at IIHM Goa, we will teach you from starting from serving of water, to laying different setups, doing different types of services, making different cocktails, mocktails, service of alcoholic beverages, tasting of wines, and all of these. All of these practicals will be conducted here, right here in this lab. Apart from these, we have a lot of activities and events that are related to food and beverage. For example, cocktail and mocktail sessions, wine tasting sessions. We'll have themed lunch or dinner, and we can have breakfast services. So all of these are special events and activities that take place. So this is to do with the food and beverage department, and coming a little into the career prospects are endless. I can go on and on with the list, as Mr. Samir Mehta has already spoken about the career prospects in food and beverage department. Even if I keep aside the hotel entirely, we have so many other sectors in which you can get into by just learning food and beverage. So you can get into cruise liners, rigs is already discussed, restaurants, hotels are obviously there. Apart from this, we have private catering, we can do industrial catering. So the opportunities are endless. So thank you so much. Over to you, Samir sir.
Thank you so much, Dhiren. And this would bring us to the last core department of any hotel management or hospitality management subject. And this is called the Accommodation Operations or the Housekeeping Department. To show you what housekeeping looks like, we have with us Ms. Alita D'Souza, and she is standing at one place which not only shows you what housekeeping does, but also the beauty of the place we are situated in. We are in Goa, boys and girls, and Goa has a charm of its own. So let's see where Alita is standing right now. Okay, over to you, Alita.
Thank you, sir. Namaste, everyone. I am Alita D'Souza, and I'm the program leader of this beautiful campus. Now, to speak about the curriculum that we follow, we are constantly updating our curriculum so that we don't lag behind from the industry. We try and make sure that our curriculum is always at par with the current trends in the industry. And that's why we try and teach you so many things that from the industry experts so that you get to learn a bit more about the subject and a bit more about hospitality. And you don't feel left out when you get into the industry. Now, I am standing in one of my practical labs. I will show you quickly, and I'm also going to show you the beautiful resort that we're located in. As you know that IIHM Goa is located inside a resort, which is a working resort and a commercial resort, where you get to see real hospitality, you get to see real guests checking in and out, and you get to do their rooms, or you get to check in the guest, or all the other stuff. You get to serve the guests. So this is basically the resort that we have, and this is one of the resort rooms, and the atmosphere here is very lovely, very inviting. I will take you inside the room to show you how the room looks like. This is the dining table that we have for the guests. It's a nice, lovely setup of a guest room where the guests come check in here, and this is for your practical tab. All your practicals are This room is a combination of two rooms. So we have a small sitting area here, wherein then you have a table, some tea coffee making facility, small center table. You can welcome your guests and entertain them. Just going outside, a lovely weather here. So this is a beautiful resort in which we are located, and this is the atmosphere where you will be studying. Now, if we have to speak about careers in hospitality or accommodation operations, to be very precise. Now, when we think about accommodation operations, we only think about cleaning, but that is not it. You have so many doors open for you. You can do careers in hospital. As you know, right now, because of the COVID, hygiene is of utmost importance. Imagine you getting so much scope into the hospital industry, wherein you can make a great career for yourself. Not only that, we have facilities management, where people grow to become area general managers or general managers of facility units. It's a great and rewarding career. Plus, you have something called as a horticulturist, a florist. If you are interested in nature, you can even join these particular departments. Think about airlines you can join. There's so many things, five-star hotels, endless opportunities in accommodation. Also, if I have to tell you really, accommodation operations gives you maximum growth. You grow really fast and you climb the ladder really fast. So I welcome you all, and I hope you join IIHM for a very rewarding career. Also, now this is a small swimming pool that we have, not really small, but this is also for our guests and for our students, wherein they can use this after their work hours. Thank you. Over to you, sir.
Thank you so much, Alida, and thank you for putting that pool bit in the end. Really makes a lot of sense to all of us who are listening in. And yes, of course. Well, that's the institute right behind me. So in case you were wondering, this is the building right there, and that's what we look like. But that brings us to the closure of what I think was a fantastic way of explaining to you how careers can be developed in hospitality. So if you're thinking about hospitality, boys and girls, don't just think about whether, don't just think about the book aspect of it, because books are just a very small part of education. The rest of it comes from experience. The rest of it comes from exposure. The rest of it comes from by doing hospitality yourself. So there's one thing that I'd like to close this webinar on, and that is anybody can teach you the techniques of hospitality. Remember one thing, boys and girls, hospitality requires passion, and that can only come from yourself. So you need to be absolutely thorough about hospitality. In India, hospitality lives in our blood. It's a part of our culture. And that's why Indians are so successful in the field of hospitality, because it's a part of our culture, right? But we need to keep that culture alive. We need to keep it revived. We need to ensure that our attitude is the right attitude for hospitality. So today, if you walk out, if you see a beggar, think about how your reaction is going to be. If you see a street dog walking behind you, think about how your reaction is going to be. And then judge for yourself if hospitality is what you think is right for you. Have the right attitude, stay safe, be well, and we really do hope that we'll see you at IIHM Goa soon, or any IIHM campus for that matter. Go around, go to your nearest campus, check out the place, check out the idea of hospitality that we have at IIHM, and then make a decision about a career in hospitality, because it exists, it is prosperous, and honestly, it can compete with any career line today available in the world. So best of luck for your futures. See you around. Signing off from IIHM Goa Studios, this is Sameer Mehta, and I hope that we have inculcated a small bit of an idea in you that hospitality can be a beautiful career. See you around. Thank you and namaskar.
IIHM, popularly known as the International Institute of Hotel Management, is one of the largest private hospitality institutes that imparts world-class education and can firmly pride itself for being one of the foremost academic institutions of the country that offer globally recognized international degrees in hotel management. The hugely popular events that they host IIHM International Young Chef Olympiad. As the last dish is plated, they can only wait till the evening for the verdict to be pronounced.
Malaysia!
IIHM as an institute has always been able to define its core objectives clearly over the years. It is an institution that has always worked towards causes that give back to the society. IIHM proudly and aptly calls them food soldiers, a dynamic group of students working tirelessly to ensure a hunger-free world.
Hotel management, hotel plus management. At IIHM, the education is like doing a BBA plus hospitality, because at IIHM we train our students to become global business hospitality managers. In one hand, they are full of knowledge in hospitality, charismatic, and they have got the study skills of very hardcore management subjects like finance, strategic HR, global marketing,